This conference will now be recorded.
No. So in the previous session, we have discussed about DML statements, and we have discussed what exactly a DML statement and what is the use, and what DML statements that we have in Apex programming, and how many ways are available in Apex programming to perform the DML operation on our object records. And while performing the DML operations on the records, what are the various governor limits that we have in Salesforce? And how can we overcome those governor limits with the help of the best practices we have discussed? And in the previous session, we have discussed a DML statement called as insert. How can we insert the record inside the object we have discussed in the previous session? So there I showed you how to create a lead record inside the object along with a related task record also. So by creating the multiple procedures with the parameters with a chaining mechanism as well, we have discussed in the previous session. Now let's see few more statements over here today. Now update statement. So what do you mean by update statement? What we can do? We can updating that existing records. That means whatever the records we have created in the past, from those records, some of the records or all the records or one record, we can update by assigning some new values for the fields. So now in that object or in that record, upon updating the record means no need to update all the field values. We can update either one field value, multiple field values also, whatever you want. Depends upon your application requirement. So that here, whenever if you want to update the records inside the object, okay, by assigning some new values for the fields, then we can go with the help of update statement. Now, whenever we are updating the records, we have to follow certain steps. It's not straightforward. If it is an insertion, just you are passing the required values, you are inserting directly here. But update statement is not like that. It is having certain steps we used to follow. Let me explain what are those steps that we need to follow. Let me explain. For example, assume that I have an object. I have an object. It may be any object, standard or custom, whatever, anything, we have an object. Now, in this object, I'm having few fields. Let's consider this is an account object here. In this account object, I'm having few fields, account ID, name of the account, rating value, and the industry. These are the four fields are available. Like that, remaining fields are also available, but I'm not discussing those fields over here. Let's taking four fields. Now this is my account object. In this account object, I'm having these fields. I'm having this ID field, name field, rating, industry field. These are the four fields. In my object, I'm having few records. In this account object, I'm having few records. First record ID is 001338899. Assume that this is the ID. Name is some Praveen Kumar. Rating value cold, industry, insurance. Second record ID is 001 447788. Name is some Tata Motors. Rating value warm, industry, manufacturing. Third one 001 290034, some Reddy Labs. It is having the rating value code. This is also a manufacturing organization. It's also manufacturing. Fourth record 001 783344. Now this is some Ramesh Kumar. Rating value some hot, industry some education. Last record 001 298841. This is some Kishore Kumar. Rating value warm, industry some consulting. These are the 5 records are available. I have an account object. In my account object, I'm having these 5 records are available. These are the 5 records. Now, so now each record is having their values like as ID, name, rating, industry. So these are the 5 records are available. All the 5 records are having their own values. Now my requirement is okay from this manufacturing organizations we are generating some huge revenue. Since last quarter or since last 2 quarters, we are generating some huge revenue from the manufacturing organizations. So I want to give some more preference to these customers. So whatever the customers are available, whose industry is manufacturing, for those customers, I would like to assign this rating value as hot. That means these are my high priority customers. These are my premium customers. So because we are generating some huge revenue from these customers, so I would like to update this records rating value as hot. What can I do? How to update these records? How? How? Now in Apex programming, record is that is for user interface. Now tell me that user interface steps first. Then I will show you how to do that. Let me go to my Salesforce arc. I'm going to my Salesforce arc now. I'm going to my application. So this is my account object here. Now, for example, here I'm having this account record. I'm having this account record, Edge Communications. For this record, we are having this annual revenue value as 13 crore 90 lakhs. Now I want to update this value to simply 65 lakhs. How to update this value now? Tell me. Go to this record over here. Now, just you can able to click on this record name. As soon as once you click on this record name, what it will do, it will be sending a request to the database server that I want to collect the details of Edge Communications account record. So now it will query that complete record data. The data will be getting visible here. Okay, next. Now click on edit button. Now tell me, what field values you would like to update? Annual revenue. What is the value you are going to update? 65 lakhs. I'm updating. That means I'm assigning the values for these fields. That means what we did, first of all, get the records from the database table and then place into your user interface. Then as a step two, assigning the values for these required fields. Not only for annual revenue, if you want to change any other values also, we can able to assign. Like I'm changing this a type value as technology partner here. I'm changing this value. Once you are assigning the values for these fields, what needs to be done? Save button. That's it. How many steps we did now? Three steps. What are those three steps? First of all, get the record from the database table. That is a step one. And then as a step two, assign some new values for the fields. That is a step two. And then as a step three, commit the changes back to the database over here. Okay, now. So the same three steps we need to perform in our programming also. Now tell me here. In our programming also we have to perform the same three steps. Now whatever the account records are available, whose industry is manufacturing, for those records I want to assign this rating value as hot. That is my requirement. Then what needs to be done? First of all, we have to get these records from the object. How can we get the records from the object?
by using
Select
SOQL query.
SOQL query here. So we have to use an SOQL query. Through that SOQL query, we need to collect those records from that object over here. Now we have to use an SOQL query. So now I would like to prepare an SOQL query over here. I'm preparing an SOQL query. So now tell me here. So what is the query that we have to use? Now, what is the query that we have to use? Tell me that query here. I want that query part. Hmm. Tell me the query. Select ID of the account, name, rating, industry, from
Account
account
where
where
industry
industry goes to
equal to manufacturing.
manufacturing. Now, whatever the account records are available, whose industry is equals to manufacturing, only those account records we are collecting. Okay. So now we need to collect this record ID also. So now in this case, whenever we are going to be updating the record details, we have to pass record ID. Why? Because if I'm not passing the record ID, how the database will understand, is it a new record I'm trying to create or I'm trying to be updating an existing record? If I'm passing the ID, that means it's a existing record. So it will do the update operation. If I'm not passing the ID, it will be considering like as a new record. So it will try to insert. Now, for that reason, whenever if you want to update the record, compulsorily we have to collect the record ID also. Now, so now whatever the records you are trying to update, those records we are collecting over here. These are the two records which I would like to update. So I'm preparing an SOQL query. Through this query, I would like to collect the record. Now tell me, whenever I'm executing this SOQL query, this query will return how many records now? Two records. What are those two? Tata Motors and then Reddy
Ready.
Labs. These are the two records will be returning by this SOQL query. These are the two records. Now my query will return these are two records. These are the two records. These are the two records will be returning by my SOQL query. Now, now tell me how to store these two records now. List collection. List of what? Why account? Because these are account records. So we have to use LST accounts. So as a step one, we have to prepare an SOQL query. Through the SOQL query, we have to collect the records from the object which you are going to update. Okay. So whatever the records you are trying to update, collect those records through an SOQL query, store them to a list collection. That is a step one. That means once you click on that record name inside your user interface, it will make the same process here. It will make a request to the database to get the record from the database table. It will show on the screen. That is a step one. Next, as a step two, what needs to be done? Hmm. Updating the record. That means what? Hmm. Editing the record, right? So now whatever the records we have collected, those records I would like to edit. That means here, whatever the values are available for the fields, I would like to update some of the field values. I would like to update some of the field values. Now what field values you would like to update? I want to update the values for the fields, okay, rating. Instead of this warm, what is the value we are going to assign now? Hot, right? Now in this case, I would like to assign this rating value as hot. So now here I'm assigning the value over here. For the second record also, I'm assigning the rating value as hot. That means what? How to assign the value for both the records? This is a collection. What needs to be done as a step two? We need to collect this collection of records, iterate the collection from starting to ending by using an enhanced for loop, get each record, assign this new values over, so that we are assigning the new values for this particular fields. We are assigning new values. Once the records are available, for these records, we are assigning new values. So whatever the records we have collected, for those records, we are iterating the collection from starting to ending. We are assigning some new values for these fields. Next, step two also done. Next, step three, save this back. That means here we need to commit these changes back to the database. That means we need to update the records back to the database again. Okay. Now, so we have to update these records back to the database. Update these records back to that database. These are the three steps. So whenever we are inserting the records, we are having straightforward concept here. But update statement is not straightforward. It is having some multiple steps. So as a step one, we need to collect the records from the object through an SOQL query and place into a collection. As a step two, iterate this collection from starting to ending and assign some new values for the fields. As a step three, update these changes back to the database by using update statement. Okay, these are the three steps will be available over here. Now, as a step one, we have to prepare an SOQL query. Through the query, we need to collect the records and we have to place them into a collection. So this is the step one. This is a step two, and this is the step three. These are the three steps we are going to perform upon updating the records inside your object. It may be any object, any record, it may be single record or multiple record, same procedure, no change at all. Okay. In user interface also same steps, through programming also same steps we used to follow. Okay. Now, make a note of this one. Update statement. By using update statement, we can update either one or more records inside the object by assigning the new values for the required fields. by assigning the new values for the required fields. While updating the records, we have to supply the record ID also along with the record details. So along with the record details, we have to supply record ID also. Syntax. Updating only one record. We can specify update that record reference name. Second one, updating multiple records. In that case, we have to use update collection name. Third one, by using database class methods. The database dot update, here we can pass the collection name, comma, a boolean parameter which returns the result in the form of database dot save result array. Done with the syntax? Done? Okay. Done with this? Now let's see. Note. While updating the records inside the object, we have to follow the below three steps. As a step one, get the required records from the object to be get updated and store them to a collection and store them to a list collection. That is the first step. For example, I would like to collect those records. List of account. LST accounts equals to I'm collecting the record. Select the ID, name, rating, industry from account where industry equals to manufacturing. Whatever the account records you are trying to update, collect those account records by using an SQL query, store them to a list collection. That is a step one. As a step two, assign the new values for the required fields by iterating the collection. Then how can we do that? I'm checking this condition. If LST accounts is not empty, that means if the collection is not empty, then I would like to iterate the collection. For each and every account record, ACC record from list collection. For this record, I want to assign the value. ACC record dot rating equals to heart. I'm assigning the value. If you want to assign the value for some more fields also, then we can assign, no problem, whatever you want. Now, as a step 3, once all the records has been assigned with the new values, then we can update the changes back to the database. Then we can able to do that update LST accounts. That's it. These are the 3 simple steps we used to follow upon updating the records inside your Salesforce subject. Done with this? Now, let's see. So these are the steps that we used to follow in order to update the records inside your Salesforce object. Then how can we do these operations? Now let me explain with a practical. Okay? Now. So let me take a small use case. Now, for example, take a small use case. Write an Apex program, write an Apex program to update the energy industry account records by assigning the values for the fields as below. I want to assign the account type as customer direct, account annual revenue value as 79 lakhs, account rating as hot, SLA as platinum, active status as yes. So whatever the account records that we have in my account object, whose industry is equals to energy, all those records I would like to collect. And for those records, I want to assign the type value as customer direct, annual revenue value as 79 lakhs, rating as hot, SLA as platinum, active status as yes. Done with this? Now, let's see how can we do this. I'm going to my developer console. Now I would like to go to my class. We have prepared a separate class for DML operations. That is a DML helper. Now I'm preparing the method. Public static void update account records. Update energy account records. Okay, I'm giving this a method name as update energy account records. So now tell me as a step one what needs to be done. Collect the account records here. So I'm writing an SQL query, list of account LST accounts equals to select the ID of the account, name, and then main importantly, whatever the field values you are going to update, these are field values you have to query compulsorily. Okay, don't miss these fields. Whatever the fields you are going to, okay, update, and whatever the field based on which you are going to apply the condition, these fields you have to query compulsorily along with ID. Remaining fields optional. If you want, you can fetch. If you don't want, leave it. No problem. Now, I would like to query the ID, name. I want to update rating field, type field, annual revenue, SLA, active status from account. Where industry equals to energy. So as a step one, I'm collecting all the industry energy account records. I'm getting the record IDs, names, the rating values, type, annual revenue, SLA, and the active status. Along with that, we need to query industry field also, right? Because based on the industry field, we are applying the condition. Now, step one is done. Once the query has been getting executed, now it will collect those records, it will store into the collection. Now tell me, suppose for example, upon typing this industry name, if I am giving like this, now there is a spelling mistake in the industry name here. In that case, do we have any matching records? No. So at that time, the collection will be empty. If it is empty, do we need to update those things? No. If nothing is available, then what can I update? So for that reason, I would like to check the condition first, whether this collection is holding some records or not. So I'm checking the condition if LST accounts is not empty. That means if the collection is not empty, collection is having some records. Then I would like to iterate the collection from starting to ending by using this enhanced for loop. So in this collection, we are having some collection of account records. Now this is the collection name. I want to collect each record here. Account, some ACC record. So whatever the account records that we have inside my collection, I'm iterating the collection from starting to ending. I'm getting each and every record. Now I want to assign some new values for these fields. ACC record dot rating. I'm passing the value hard. ACC record dot type. We are passing the value customer direct. ACC record dot annual revenue. What is the value? 79 lakhs. ACC record dot SLA. I'm passing the value platinum. ACC record dot active status should be equals to yes. Now, can I write this update statement inside the for loop here? Once the record has been assigned with the new values, can I update directly? No. Why? Because suppose for example, so whatever the industry name that I have given over here, with this industry name, suppose I am having so 160 matching records are available here. Then collection contains how many records? 160 records. Now my for loop will be executing how many times? 160 times. In each iteration, if I'm using one DML statement over here, total how many iterations are available? 160 iterations. How many DML statements we need? 160. Can I use 160 DML statements within one transaction? No. How many we can use? 150. So in this case, it will hit the governor limit here. At the time of 151th time, it will hit the governor limit. So in this case here, to avoid this problem, don't write any DML statements inside the for loop. That's what I have given that best practice. Once all the records has been assigned with the new values, then update that collection of records in one shot by using bulkification mechanism here. Now update LST accounts. That's it. Simple. Okay. Understood the concept here? No. After the for loop, that means outside of the for loop, I'm using update statement here. So totally how many records will be available? 160 records. How many update statements we are using here? Only one. Okay, that is the power of collections. Okay, now let me execute this method. Update energy industry account records. Before that, let me place those records on my table first. Let me customize these fields. I don't want total revenue, service tax, net revenue, all these things. I want to show the account name, rating value. Next, I want to place industry. I want to place annual revenue. I want to place phone. I want to place a type. I would like to place active status also. I want to place SLA field also. I would like to place SLA field. What other fields we are updating? Now, all are available. Let me place that facts field as well. After the phone, I would like to show that facts field. Active status, I would like to show at the last. Now, let's see. Now, with the industry energy, just you can click on the industry field, search for that option energy. Now, these are the values are available here right now. We haven't updated still. Okay, rating value, annual revenue, and then we are having that type value, and then we are having SLA active status. Now let me update these records. I'm executing this code. Click on execute. The request will be processing by server. It will update all the records. Now, as of now, we are having different rating values are available, different annual revenues. Let's refresh this table now. All the records rating has been updated as hot. Annual revenue has been updated as 79 lakhs. Type also will be updated here, and then SLA value, active status also. All these things will be updating in one shot. Okay. Not only updating one record, we can update multiple records also at a time by using DML statements. Okay. Next. Now let me place this code. You want to write this code, or can I share into the document? Okay. Next one. Take one more use case. Take one more use case. Now, for example, I'm going to that setup menu. I'm accessing the users. So these are the users are available inside my arc. This is our administrator user. These are the 4 users which we have created. Now tell me, are these users are in active status or inactive status? Active status. How do you know active status? Now
One
checkbox is indicating
checkbox is
here.
there.
So now there is a checkbox. Now the checkbox is indicating the users are in active status. Okay, fine. Now my requirement is, now I want to prepare a method. To that method, I would like to pass one username. These are the usernames over here, unique ones. I would like to pass one username to my method. I will pass one username to my method as input. Now, whatever the username that we have supplied, based on the username, it has to collect the user record, it has to deactivate. When, if the user is already in active status, then it has to deactivate. If the user is already deactivated, we no need to do anything, just you need to come back over here. That's my requirement. Okay, I would like to deactivate the user based on the username which I have supplied at runtime. What username I will pass at runtime, I don't know that here. Okay, now in this case, how can we do this one? Now let's see. Now tell me, how do we know whether user is in active status or not? Through programming. What is that field? Is
Is
active.
active.
Now is active field. Is active field will be of type what? What data type? Boolean. That means checkbox data type here. Now, if it is active, then what is the value? True. If it is that the inactive, then what is the value? False. Now, what we are going to do now? We want to deactivate the user. If you want to deactivate the user, what we have to do? For that user record, for is active field value, we need to assign the value as what? False. And then we
False.
need to update it back to the database. That's it. Simple concept. Okay. Now, let's see. How can we do this? Let's take that use case. Write an Apex program to deactivate the user based on the specified username at runtime. Whatever the username that I have supplied at runtime, based on that username, I would like to deactivate the user. Done? Now, let's see. Now, public static void deactivate user. I'm passing the username. String user info. I want to deactivate the user based on that user record here. Now, whatever the user name I would like to pass, or simply we can specify user record name, anything, whatever the parameter that you want, you can specify. User record name. I'm passing this user name at runtime. Based on that user name, the corresponding user details I would like to collect from the database through SOQL query. And then I would like to deactivate the user by assigning the is active field value as false. Now, first of all, we have to check. Based on a parameter, whenever we are fetching some data, then first of all, we have to verify whether that parameter is holding the value or not. Now I'm checking the condition. If user record name not equals to null and user record name not equals to empty. That means if this parameter value is not null and not empty, then I would like to fetch the user record here. Select the ID of the user, first name of the user, last name of the user, username is active from user. where username equals to user record name. So whatever the username that I'm supplying at runtime, based on that, I'm comparing with the username field, I'm fetching the user record from the database. When if he's in active status here, if is active equals to true. Because if the user is already in deactivation status, nothing to do over there. Just we need to save our DML statement here. Now tell me here, what is the result here? Hmm. I'm passing username. With one username, how many user records will be available inside my R? Single. Then how can we store a single variable? User info. Okay. Now, because whatever the username that we have supplied, with that username, only one user record will be available. So I'm going to be storing that single record in a single variable. Now I would like to check the condition. If user info dot id, okay, user info dot id not equals to null. That means if the user record id is not null, user record id is available, that means user is available, then I would like to deactivate. So user info dot is active equals to false, and then update the record. That's it, over. Simple concept here. Okay. So now whatever the username that I'm supplying at runtime, based on that username, I would like to collect the user record from the object if he is in active status. Now, in that case, once the user record data has been collected, I want to check really we are having this user record details available or not. If the user record ID is not null, that means user record is available, then I would like to deactivate this user account by passing this is active field value as false. Okay? Now, let me invoke this method. I'm passing one username. Now I would like to pass customer user here. This is a username. User.customer374 at the rate cis.com. I'm passing this username. Now click on execute button. Now it is indicating duplicate username. Let me pass this manager user. Now done. User has been deactivated here. Let's refresh this user interface now. Whatever the manager user account that we have, manager user account has been deactivated automatically here. Okay, clear? Now, so not only updating the normal records, we can able to deactivate these users also. Okay. Next. Let me place this code. Next. Next one. I'm going to my account object here. I'm going to my account object. Now, so now in this case, let's see, in my account object, I'm having so many records are available. Each record will be having some specific owner, right? Yes. Every record will be having a specific owner. Now, how do we know who is the owner of this record? We can place those fields also. Here just you can go to that select fields to display. Here you will be having two full fields will be available: owner first name, owner last name. Owner first name, owner last name, both we can able to add. Now, for this records, we can see that. training batch user. For most of the records, training batch user will be the owner of this record here. Now, today what I will do is I want to prepare a method. Okay, I want to prepare a method. There I will pass two parameters. Okay, two parameters. First one, rating field or industry, for example, industry field. Whenever I'm passing this industry field value, based on this industry, whatever the account records are available, I want to collect all the account records. Now, second parameter is username. Okay, username, which is in email ID format. I will pass one username. So now in that case, whatever the username that I have supplied to that user, these records has to get transferred. I want to transfer the specified industry account records to the specified user automatically. I want to transfer the record ownership over here. Okay. I want to transfer the record ownership to the specified user automatically. Generally, if you want to transfer the record ownership, for example, we are having this Genie Point account. If you want to transfer this record ownership, go to the record owner over here, owner field, and then click on change owner link over here. Change owner link. Or else we can go to the detail page here. Now here we are having the button menu. We have a button called as the change owner button. Now select the new user. Right now training batch user is the owner here. I want to transfer to development user here. Now click on submit. From now onwards, development user will be the owner of the record. Now in this case, now tell me what is this a field name? Hmm. The field label is account owner. What is the actual column name? Hmm.
Owner ID.
The field name is owner ID. In this field, what it will store? Name of this user or ID of the user? ID of the user. It will store the ID of this user here. Okay, owner ID field. It will store ID of the user to whom the record is associated. Okay. Now in this case, what needs to be done depends upon the industry name which I have supplied. Collect all those records and get that user's industry name. That or get the user's ID. That ID we need to pass into owner ID field here. That's it. Simple concept here. Okay. Now let me show you. Understood the requirement here? Now, not clear still. Okay. Now let me explain that. Make a note of this use case. Write an Apex program to transfer the specified industry account records to the specified user dynamically at runtime. Hmm. Just tell me, what is the question? Hmm. Now, suppose for example, I am preparing a method. For this method, I am passing the industry name as, for example, finance. I am passing the industry name as finance. I will pass one username. Assume that this is a development user. Now my requirement is what? Whatever the account records are available, whose industry is equals to finance, collect all those records. Those records should be transferred to development user automatically. That means for these records, owner should be development user. Then here, what industry I will pass, I don't know. Randomly I will pass. What username I will pass, randomly I will pass any one of the user. Development user, customer user, manager user, anybody, I will pass that username. Okay? Now. So now in this case, let's see how can we do this. Done with this use case? Now, I'm preparing a method. Public static void transfer accounts. Okay, transfer accounts. I'm passing industry name and I'm passing user record name. Okay. Now, in this case here, what needs to be done? First of all, check whether these two parameters are having values or not. Username also should not be empty. Suppose, for example, based on this industry, I'm collecting the account record. After collecting the account record, I have verified this field very parameter name. If it is empty, then to whom I can transfer the record here? It's a waste of one SO cable query. For that one, first of all, I would like to check whether both the parameters are empty or not. If industry name not equals to null and industry name not equals to empty, and user record name not equals to null and user record name not equals to empty. Now, so we are checking both the parameters over here. Whatever the parameters that we are receiving, I would like to check whether both the parameter values are empty or not. If it is not empty, then I would like to collect that account records based on this industry name. Now, how many account records will be there with this industry name? Only one or multiple? Multiple also. So for that reason here, we are using list collection. List of account. List accounts equals to select the ID of the account, name, rating, industry, and the owner ID field. Okay, because I would like to pass this a user record ID inside my owner ID field here. From account where industry equals to industry name. Whatever the industry name that have supplied at runtime, based on that industry name, I would like to collect the corresponding account records and then I would like to store them to the list collection. Clear? Next. If the account records are available, that means with that industry name, account records may be there, may not be there, no guarantee here. Now, if the collection is not empty, if list account is not empty, if the collection is not empty, that means there are some account records are available. Then I would like to transfer this account records to whom? To this particular user. Then how can we collect this user details? We need to query this here. User info. Because we know the user name, but what we need? User ID. For that one, we are making a query over here. Select ID of that user, first name, last name, username is active from user where username equals to user record name and is active equals to true. So now I'm collecting this user record based on the user name which you have supplied at runtime. So because here, if the user is already in deactivation status, then what is the use of assigning this account records over here? I don't want to make that deactivated user as owner, because if he is the owner, he should able to work on the record. But user is already deactivated. He can't log into my account. He can't access the record. Then who will work on these accounts? This is the problem. That's what here I'm going to making sure that user should be in active status. Now, if the user is available, that means if user info dot id not equals to null, if the user record is available here, then I would like to pass this user ID to my account records owner ID field. So how many account records are available here? Multiple. So iterate that collection here. For each and every account record from LST accounts, I would like to pass that value here. SEC record dot owner ID field. owner ID field equals to user info dot id. I'm passing this user record ID into the owner ID field of account. Then once you are assigning for all these records, update it back to the database. Update LST accounts. That's it, simple. Okay. So in this case, whatever the industry name that I have supplied, based on the industry name, I'm collecting the corresponding account records. And then once the industry, with this industry, if the records are available here, if the records are available, then I would like to collect that user's information over here based on the username which I have supplied at runtime. And once the user record is available over here, then I would like to transfer these accounts to this particular user. Okay. Now let's see. Now I would like to pass the industry name. For example, here, whatever the account records are available over here, I would like to collect these records based on this industry energy. Now, who is the owner of these records over here? Training batch user. I would like to transfer to, okay, customer user. Go to the users. I want to transfer to testing user. Energy industry accounts to that testing user. Clear? Now, click on execute. My request has been done. Now let's go back to your accounts. As of now, the owner for these records are training batch user. Just refresh this one. Who is the owner now? To user testing. So records has been transferred to testing user automatically. So that whenever if you want to transfer the records to the required users dynamically at runtime, we can go with the help of this, okay, Apex programming with the help of update statement by passing this owner ID field value. Clear? Now, let me place this code. Understood the concept here? Now, this is how we can able to use update statements to perform this update operation. Next, in tomorrow's session, we'll see some more DML statements, like as a delete statement, undelete statement, upset statement. We'll see one by one here. Okay. Now, so do the practice on these features today. Tomorrow we'll see, okay, how to perform the remaining DML operation. I will share these notes into your Google Drive and your WhatsApp group also, so that you can access it. Okay.